for football. From Raymond James Stadium, an NFC South clash here in Week 3. The defending title holders, the Falcons, in town to take on the upstart Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And hi again, everybody, alongside the coach, Brian Billick and Laura Oakman. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to the NFL on Fox. Now, granted, third week of the year, there's a lot of football, as they say, left to be played. Having said that, Tampa Bay looks back on last year, the two very tight losses to this Atlanta team, and says it kept us out of the playoffs. Both believe they're going to the postseason this year.
Well, these games have been close for a while, and the coaches will tell you it's because they're built very similarly. They've got good, not great defenses. They're both big, physical running attacks. They've got a great deal of skill at the skill position. And by the way, they both have a couple good quarterbacks that can beat you. Now, Tampa Bay's at home in the division. They got to hold serve. How are they going to do that? Got to bring the safeties down the box. You can't let Michael Turner get cranked up on you, but you better be careful. You got to put pressure on Matt Ryan. And when you do so, that opens up the doors for big plays down the field. Tampa Bay's got a tough task today.
Well, we're so excited about these two very talented young quarterbacks. And how about the head coaches? Mike Smith, his 34 wins since 2008. Most in the NFC, second only to Bill Belichick in the National Football League. On the other side, 35-year-old Irvington, New Jersey native Raheem Morris. 0-4 against Atlanta. Overall, the Buccaneers have lost 5 in a row to the Falcons. But Morris and the Bucs won 3 games in 2009. They had the biggest turnaround in the NFL, winning 10 a season ago. Boy, Brian, you said it. You and I have called so many of these NFC South battles over the last 3 years, and they all seem to be tight, very physical football games that have come down to the fourth quarter, and we know what both of these quarterbacks are capable of in the final stanza.
Yeah, and the fact that there are some pretty good football teams. Atlanta, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, obviously Carolina's still developing. But anytime, and the proximity, you don't have to travel a long way on any of these teams. When they go to a visiting stadium, there's a certain familiarity about that. That's what makes this really such a tough physical division to play in.
Atlanta won the toss, elected to receive. There's Michael Kanan, the Tampa Bay punter, left Atlanta and signed with the Buccaneers as a free agent. And some believe even the subtlety of a punter or a guy who kicks off. I mean, Kanan is a big weapon who now has moved inside the division. Yeah, Mike Smith of the Falcons hated to lose Kanan, but you know, you can't keep everybody. You got to kind of pick your poison. They say it's a third of the game. Well, they're right. Eric Weems brought one back 102 yards against Tampa Bay last year. This line drive kick was handled by Weems, and he spun down at the 27-yard line. This group's been together for quite a while with Atlanta. The only change is at right guard. They welcome back Todd McClure for the first time this year. He's been out with an injured knee. Weapons, boy, oh boy. Turner, a couple of 100-yard rushing games. You know about Tony Gonzalez. And, of course, it all begins with number 2, Matt Ryan. You know, the guy to keep an eye on, Harry Douglas. He comes into the 3-wide package. He can be very explosive, particularly against a defense like this. Try to lay it off out of the backfield to Obi Mahaley. 2nd and 10. An extremely young defense for Tampa Bay, and it begins up front, including the number 1 draft pick, Adrian Claiborne, out of Iowa. Mason Foster, another rookie starter at middle linebacker. Quincy Blackout with an injury. Aqib Talib, and Rondé Barber starts his 186th consecutive game here today. That's the longest such streak in the NFL. Nice tackle made by Talib, coming up to drop Michael Turner for a loss of a yard. Turner already with a pair of 100-yard rushing games this season. Well, and the Atlanta Falcons want this to be Michael Turner's game in terms of they always want to run the ball. You got a defensive-minded head coach in Mike Smith, but they know they brought in Julio Jones in the draft for one reason. We have got to have more explosive plays. Yeah, we're going to run it. Yeah, we're going to play good defense. We got to come up with big plays. Falls loose. The Buccaneers have forced the first turnover. Stripped out of the hand of Ryan, and look who's there to get it, Rondé Barber.
Well, last week, the only sacks Tampa Bay was able to come up with was coming from the secondary. There's Rondé Barber. He is just late green dogging, they call it, seeing what the back's going to do. They brought a ferocious rush. He just kind of hung around and picked up a free fumble. Right man at the right place at the right time.
Dakota Watson getting his second NFL start. He's playing in place of Quincy Black. That's who stripped it away from Ryan. So now Freeman throwing on first down. And it's caught diving inside the 10 is Mike Williams. Another group up front led by Donald Penn, the Pro Bowl left tackle from a season ago. Davin Joseph healthy again. So many youngsters. Blunt, Williams, Ben joining the veterans Graham and Winslow. And of course at quarterback, 23-year-old Kansas City native Josh Freeman. 1-5 in his first 6. Been rolling ever since. This is LeGarrette Blunt. First and goal, Buccaneers.
You know, LeGarrette Blunt has added a physicality. This is just straight downhill. There's nothing fancy about this guy. He is so powerful and so big. He's a little taller, unlike Michael Turner, who's small, kind of the bowling ball type. This guy is up higher. You'd think you'd get good shots on him, but he is so strong in the upper body and in the lower body. He's able to just run you over.
Intercepted in the end zone by Thomas Deku, back in the starting lineup after watching James Sanders take his job in a game last week. Wow, a rare mistake made by Freeman.
And this is ill-advised. Going to the left, he was looking for just the right amount of touch, had the right idea. We've seen, obviously, a tight end like Kellen Winslow making a great catch, but he just didn't account for everybody. Here you can see Deku just falls off late. He thought he had a clear shot over the top of the linebacker. I don't think he saw Deku, who was trailing the wide receiver. I didn't think he thought, or obviously he didn't think, the guy could fall back inside. Huge turnover for the Atlanta Falcons. Really dodged a bullet covering the Matt Ryan mistake.
First interception in the last 111 passing attempts by Josh Freeman. Turner for a couple of yards. And I got to tell you, Brian, if I'm a Buccaneers fan and I'm down inside the 3 and I've got LeGarrette Blunt in the backfield, why am I throwing on first and goal?
Well, you ran it on first down, got good yardage at it. You know what? Atlanta's thinking the same thing. Anytime you throw down there, particularly off of what? A play action, you're thinking I'll get them to overreact to the run and I'm going to get a shot in the back of the end zone, except for a brilliant play by a trailing corner Deku, or a safety Deku. They actually had it done.
Jason Snelling out of the backfield, a couple of yards shy of a first down. He's tackled from behind by Mason Foster. Matt Ryan coming off a career-high tying 4-touchdown performance in that late rally last week in Atlanta to beat Philadelphia. There you see his season numbers, all 4 touchdowns coming in that Philadelphia win. Jaquiz Rogers, and it looks like he's able to tiptoe his way to a first down out across the 32-yard line.
We're going to see a lot of different personnel groupings and a lot of shifting on the part of the Atlanta Falcons, and here's why. Tampa Bay's got young Mason Foster at the middle linebacker position, and Mike Mularkey told us they want to make this game big for that middle linebacker. Shifts, motions. He is now calling the defense. Quincy Black is out. He's the one with the communicator in his ear. He's got to get everybody set. They want to make this a big game for the rookie middle linebacker.
Michael Palmer, but he was covered beautifully by Dakota Watson, 2nd and 10.
You know, it's stunning when you look at this Tampa Bay team, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. They are so young. You alluded to earlier, they're the youngest team in the NFL. Here's one for you. Who's the 3rd youngest team in the NFL? The Green Bay Packers. Now that's scary when you see that one.
You're right about that. Turner wrapping that football up tightly with both hands. Up to the 36-yard line. It'll bring up another 3rd down for Ryan and the Falcons. Tony Gonzalez checks back in. Last week, Gonzalez moved into 5th place on the NFL's all-time receptions list, past Terrell Owens. That's a nice play defensively by Cody Grimm. It was good coverage, but Grimm stepped in there just as the ball was about to enter the hands of Gonzalez.
And that was the young Mason Foster who had to trail Gonzalez in coverage. Nice job by the young man that's known primarily as a tough inside player. Shows there that now that he's going to be called to be kept in the game in nickel coverages with the injury to Quincy Black, that's a big play for the young rookie.
Matt Bosher on the punt for Atlanta. Preston Parker coming off the best game of his NFL career in the win against Minnesota last week. Movement along the line of scrimmage.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 33. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Still 4th down, and they would be about 2 yards shy of a 1st down.
That was just Albert Mack wanted to get a little bit of jump on it. Here, you know, no harm, no foul. Obviously, if it's 4th and 4, now we're going to have a discussion, son. You do that one, but obviously on a 4th and long, not a big deal here.
Parker in traffic, and now with daylight. And he is wrapped up by the punter at the 46-yard line. If Bosher doesn't make that tackle, Parker might be headed to the end zone.
Yeah, this kid jumped out of nowhere. Here he gets the ball almost late. Little bit of a hold there. They got away with it. This guy, a very fluid, smooth athlete. When you talk to the offensive coordinator, Greg Olson, you talk to Josh Freeman, the first word that comes out of their mouth about this young man, he's a competitor. He's a guy that had some issues coming out of college. He's worked his way up to this point, was a huge factor in last week's win.
LeGarrette Blunt for maybe a yard. We welcome in the 3rd member of our broadcast team down on the field, and I'm sure it's still pretty steamy down there, Laura Oakman.
Absolutely, and that's something the Falcons have been talking about all week. Ever since that grueling win, mentally and physically, the coaches have been preaching hydration. So they got on the plane yesterday, water bottles waiting for them on every seat. Checked into the hotel, water bottles in the lobby, off of every elevator. 3-prong attack today, fluid, IVs, and a strong rotation. Sean Weatherspoon telling me we've got to keep hydrated and fresh. We think this one's going to come down to the final quarter, probably the final series. We can't fade down the stretch.
Laura, thank you so much, and she'll be keeping an eye on those Falcons and the Buccaneers for that matter. Boy, did we have a lot of rain for a good solid 2-3 hours earlier this afternoon. Brian, does that help one team or the other?
No, obviously it's still humid. The question becomes, did we get so much rain that it's going to affect the field? If it did, and if we watch that progress, you might want to take your shots early because it may be more difficult, particularly if we get more rain later in the day.
Third and 5, 4-man rush. They drop it off to Ernest Graham. But an excellent open field tackle made by Sean Weatherspoon.
Well, the thing I love about the Atlanta Falcon defense, again, they're a solid group. There's a lot of things you'd like to bring to this group, but I tell you what, very few groups rally to the ball better than the Atlanta Falcons. You love what Brian Van Gorder does with this group. Not the most talented group, but they play hard, and it's very rarely that one guy gets there. It's 2, 3, and 4 guys.
Weems stands back at his own 10. End over end punt. This is returnable. Good coverage. Atlanta gets the football for the 3rd time.
You know, Tom, I talked about the plan, the scheme of the Atlanta Falcons. They've been so successful. One of the things they do best, no one was better last year in terms of getting 10-plus play drives and scoring off it. The problem is you got to be careful with that because you can die slowly. Bleed to death slowly is the term I use. They need to be more explosive. That's why they traded their pick all the way up to the 6th pick of the draft to get a guy like Julio Jones. They know they have to be more explosive to move along into the playoffs and be a championship caliber team.
Turner hit hard after a gain of close to 3. First man there is Foster. We welcome those of you who are watching a thriller, the Lions and the Vikings. Detroit coming back to tie it. And Detroit wins it in overtime, 26-23. That's 3 straight games Minnesota has lost after having a second half lead, including last week to these Buccaneers. 2nd and 7. Under heavy pressure was Ryan Price chasing it.
I talked about being able to get pressure, and here you're going to see inside pressure. My machine's going a little crazy here, but inside pressure, boy, you love that as a coach. You always talk about the outside pressure getting to a quarterback. When it comes from the inside, that really gets into the quarterback's mind.
Ryan only 1 of 5 to start the game. Clete Blakeman, our referee.
For 56, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's Dakota Watson.
Yeah, and again, the key is if you draw someone off sides, or I should say an offensive lineman can react to someone violating the neutral zone. This is the down and distance on 3rd down that Atlanta needs. Last couple weeks, they've been much longer distances. This one should favor them.
Blitz coming. Atlanta picks it up. And a catch is made by Roddy White. He's been pretty quiet to begin this year. That's just his 12th catch. White led the NFL with 115 receptions a season ago. But boy, on 3rd down, not only number 1 in overall receptions, number 1 in 3rd down receptions.
Well, Roddy White and Matt Ryan have developed that special relationship that a quarterback and a receiver will have. It's that 6th sense. They kind of know what the other's doing before they actually do it. That's what leads to those great numbers. It's what Matt Ryan's trying to develop very quickly with the other fine receiver on the other side, Julio Jones.
There's Jones, and that didn't fool anybody. Rondé Barber, a second big play early on.
Well, there may be a lot of people on this young Tampa Bay defense that you can fool, but 20 Rondé Barber isn't going to be one of them. He knows enough to stay as deep as the deepest, wide as the widest. He came off that edge. He knew he wasn't going to run down the play. Great play by the veteran.
36 years old, out of Montgomery County, Virginia. And this is 15th year, only player in NFL history. 25 or more sacks, 40 or more interceptions. Third down upcoming. Let's send it to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
The Lions were down 20-0 at halftime in Minnesota. They got it to overtime there on the opening possession. Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson hook up for a 40-yard play. Sets up a 32-yard game-winning field goal from the 20-year vet Jason Hanson. 26-23. Lions go to 3-0 for the first time since 1980. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
13 years since the Detroit Lions have won in Minneapolis. What a big game for the Lions and Jim Schwartz.
Set up the screen. It's caught, but Michael Bennett all over Jason Snelling out of the backfield to drop him right there. And Gerald McCoy was all over Matt Ryan.
Great job. Anytime a defensive lineman can get that feel, he felt the screen coming his way. Kind of, you know what, it's too good to be true. If I can get to the quarterback this easy, a veteran defensive lineman, not that this is an old veteran, all these guys are young, but had a sense of, you know what, something else is going on here.
Well, in his third year, Bennett's been around longer than most of them.
Yeah, he's the old man of that group in year 3.
Drive down. Bosher the punt, and Parker a fair catch at the 32-yard line. So we wait on the penalty.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 21. He was in motion on the line of scrimmage. Tampa Bay elects its option, a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, and re-kick.
Yeah, Tampa Bay brought a rush man from the outside, and the end man on the line of scrimmage. You got to get set. You're like a wide receiver now. You're in motion. You better get set. Simply going to back him up a little bit and give him a chance to do it again.
Could be a big swing. We'll see. Parker had made the fair catch at the 31-yard line. Movement again.
Well, typically the previous foul you might add on to the end of the kick, but this sure makes Raheem Morris's choice correct.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 54.
Oh, gosh.
5-yard penalty.
Wow.
Still 4th down.
Well, we've seen 2 of those now. The defense flinches a little bit. The offense responds to it. I'm not sure I saw the flinch, but they get back to 5 yards.
Playing field certainly worth keeping an eye on with all the rain we had earlier today. And bear in mind, they played a college game here last night. University of South Florida blitzing UTEP.
This field usually holds up well, but it's what I alluded to earlier about if you're going to take some shots, you might do it early because the conditions could worsen.
Parker coming up to get it. Did not signal a fair catch. And that's a 10-yard swing before a late flag comes in. So from the last punt, where Parker fair caught it at the 31, brings it to the 41 this time.
Well, I told you this guy was competitive, but that was a little ill-advised. That was 11th hour, although he almost popped it
During
out.
the return, illegal block in the back, and the return team, number 35. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Tampa Bay.
That's on Cody Grimm. Both teams a little sluggish early on. No score.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
No score, 4:42 to play in the opening quarter. From Tampa. Rain is stopped for the time being. 3 minutes hit on 2 out of 3, but threw that interception in the end zone and into traffic here. And who came down with the ball? No one.
Well, I'm not quite sure who that was intended for. 2 receivers kind of stacked on top of one another. Aurelius Ben had crossed the field. Mike Williams was in behind him. Looked like the ball hit the ground, but the fact that we both were in the same area, somebody's in the wrong place.
Blunt slips a couple of tackles, picks up close to 3. Let's send it back to Los Angeles to Kurt.
Well, Buffalo's Fred Jackson, out of my alma mater, Coe College, not only leading the NFL in rushing, but the Bills in the comeback today takes this catch from Ryan Fitzpatrick all the way down to the 1. That set up the game-winning field goal by Ryan Liddell. They come back from 21-0 down to beat the Patriots 34-31, going to 3-0. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. A 3rd down and 6. Well, this thing's ugly here in the opening quarter. Really ugly.
Yeah, Ray Edwards goes jumping off inside. We'll see if he was induced.
Encroachment. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
You know, and typically when a quarterback like Josh Freeman gets in the gun, you don't think of using the cadence to draw someone off sides. But Josh Freeman's capable of doing just that. You know, you see the gyrations quarterbacks go through from the gun. They lift the knee, they move the elbow. Whatever Edwards saw, he thought he had a beat on it, and he didn't. Now they've got a third, instead of a 3rd medium, they're down to a 3rd and short.
Freeman looking around. That's Ernest Graham, and that's a 1st down up to the 45-yard line. Graham is their leading receiver early on this year for the Buccaneers. We introduce you to Atlanta defensively for the first time. John Abraham, 4-time Pro Bowler, off to another big start. And we'll introduce you to the Falcons defense in a minute. First and 10 at the 45. No score with 2:42 to play in the opening quarter. Pump fake. Freeman had Williams wide open and missed it.
We've had a couple plays here now, and we talked with Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The slow start of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not something you want to dwell on. It's like fumbling. The more you talk about it, the more you do it. But they have started slow, and we're seeing here, there are miscues here. Receivers bunched up together. That one, it looked like he thought Williams was going to go deeper. They're not on the same page, and that's a concern for Greg Williams because you spend an awful lot of time in practice covering these opening sequences.
Williams on the quick hit, a 1st down to the 39.
And that's one way to counter it. You know what? This is as simple as a screwdriver. How about I take just 2 quick steps and throw the ball up to Mike Williams, an explosive receiver. He just comes right down the line. Nice job by him slipping inside, and now all of a sudden now you got to turn up because that nickel man, you know, those linebackers are in there. They don't like it when wide receivers come into that area. Nice job turning it upfield for the extra yardage.
Blunt bounces off a tackle, able to pick up 2. You know, you look statistically at the slow starts in each of the first 2 weeks. Tampa Bay's been outscored 37-13. They only had 62 yards of offense, 3 first downs total for the Buccaneers last week in Minnesota.
Well, Donald Penn, their Pro Bowl left tackle, said, I'm glad we're kicking off at 4:15 because maybe we'll get started faster now because that's about the time we finally get going.
Well, we're having an issue with the game clock.
Everybody's having problems today.
You know, you started to talk about your telestrator being on the fritz and acting up a little bit. Acting a lot like the guy trying to run it, seems to me.
Yeah, you're right. But that's just an excuse. If in doubt, I'm going to blame the technical people.
Is now correct. 25 seconds.
Right now, Greg Olson's going, yep, I know it. It was the clock guy that's got me thrown off. That's why we're not doing real well right now.
Right, clock taken care of, down to 2:20. Short of a first down. First catch made today by Kellen Winslow. Tampa Bay's leading receiver in each of his first 2 years with the Buccaneers since coming over in the trade from Cleveland. Now has a catch in 79 straight games.
And Tampa Bay's been pretty good on third down this year, mainly because they've been in these convertible distances. Last year Atlanta was as good as anybody in the league, but they've been in a whole bunch of third and longs. If Tampa can stay in these third and shorts, it's going to bode well for them.
Incomplete. Freeman under heavy pressure. So on a third down and a little longer than a yard, they throw it.
Yeah, Atlanta talked about when you get to Freeman, you better get to that arm, because you can see an example here. You can get a hold of him, but as long as that arm's free, he's going to get it off. Defensive coordinator Brian Van Gorder talked about how you got to wrap his arms up. You can't just get a hold of him. You got to get that trigger arm put away.
49-yard, we'll call it, field goal try for Connor Bart. And that one is hammered from 49 yards out. 3-0 Buccaneers.
Is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
1:19 to play in the opening quarter in a 3-0 Buccaneers lead. Each team has turned it over. Freeman throwing an interception in the end zone after Matt Ryan fumbled on Atlanta's first possession of the game.
Well, it's a sloppy game all around for both squads on both sides of the ball. Atlanta needs to settle down, obviously, but I'll go back to my original point. You don't have a lot of continuity. You want to get it, but by the same token, you need some big plays. Tough calling plays under those circumstances. They've got to get something more than a 3-and-out.
Williams going to bring it out deep into his own end zone and will get beyond the 20 up to the 22, and a late flag comes in right at the end of the play.
During the return, holding, return team number 52. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. First down, Atlanta.
Got Akeem Dent on the hold. Ryan and Atlanta will be backed up inside the 10.
Sponsored by DirecTV. This season, NFL Sunday Ticket is included when you switch. By State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Sprint. All football, no limits. Only from Sprint.
1:12 to play in the opening quarter. 10 total yards for this Atlanta offense. Teams have combined for 7 penalties. Turner met head on the first man there, the rookie Adrian Claiborne. Quick, powerful, violent defensive lineman out of Iowa.
I'll tell you what, this is a guy who was a huge pick and a bit of a risk. This was a young man that there were questions about the Erb's palsy. Raheem Morris told us, though, he knew he was okay. His offensive lineman asked him the first couple days of practice, which one of these arms is supposed to be weaker than the other? He said, okay, we're good to go.
Crossing pattern, and Roddy White up to the 32. That'll move the chain.
What a throw and catch. Roddy White really seeing the ball at just the last second. Obviously in here it's kind of a deep post route, has to fight his way out. A little bit of hold there, I'll get away with it. The thing jumped on him quick to come out of it like that. Beautiful catch by the Pro Bowl receiver.
Well, that will be the way the first quarter comes to an end. Tampa Bay in the NFC South up to a 3-0 lead. Fox NFL Sunday continues after this. Tampa Bay set to begin the second quarter on the Buccaneers' home turf. Give it to Turner on first down. And there to meet him in the backfield is Brian Price. Some of the early headline acts: Eli Manning, a huge win for the Giants. That's 2 losses in a row now for the Dream Team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Wes Welker, a monster day and a loss. And Stafford rallies his team in the second half to tie it, and they win it in overtime. Flag down. Julio Jones, rookie out of Alabama, run out of bounds. If the play stands close to midfield, it would be a first down. But we wait on the flag. It's against Tampa Bay.
Offsides. Defense, number 71. That penalty's declined. Yardage is enough for a first down.
18-yard catch by Jones.
You know, and this doesn't surprise me. Mike Smith, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, he's the one that starts the no-huddle process offensively. They need something to shake it up, and that's exactly what they've gone to here. Put it in Matt Ryan's hand. We need to do something to get the rhythm going here.
Play clock down to 3. Turner in a violent collision with Mason Foster. Picks up a couple of yards.
And when Atlanta picked up Julio Jones, I tell you what, they paid a heavy price for it, but you can see it here. This guy runs angry after the catch. He's fabulous when he gets his hands on it. He's good vertical after a double move, and he's willing to do the dirty work down the field and be a blocker for this run-oriented offense.
Harry Douglas chopped down by Talib at the 44-yard line. A third down upcoming for the Falcons.
Raheem here, he recognizes right now, you know, and this is what it does. Remember, Raheem Morris calls the defense, and a no-huddle shakes you up on the sidelines as well as it does on the field. Atlanta, smart move going to the no-huddle, trying to make something happen.
Somehow, some way, Roddy White makes a catch. It looked like a whiff by E.J. Biggers, who appeared to have an angle on that football.
Yeah, he had great coverage, and if it had come up with interception, would be dog cussing Matt Ryan for even attempting it. But this is that kind of sixth sense that he and Roddy White have, the ability to just put the ball in the area. As one coach told us, doesn't have to be a hole-in-one. Just get it up on the green, and he'll find it.
Jaquiz Rodgers, with Jason Snelling having left the field and gone into the Atlanta locker room.
And this is what distinguishes the Atlanta no-huddle from some others. Typically, when you get into scoring territory, you come out of it. But Matt Ryan, they have such comfort in him orchestrating the no-huddle. They've continued it here, even on the 13-yard line.
Well, they were lights out in the red zone last week. Can't do any better. Now Tony Gonzalez wide open and missed him. 3rd and 8. For more on Jason Snelling, here's Laura Oakman.
You said he's in the locker room, Tom. Right now they're calling it a possible head injury. He's going under evaluations. I'll have more as soon as that's updated.
Boy, thank you. All right, 3rd down and 8. Most of the time on 3rd down, you think Gonzalez, you think Roddy White.
Yeah, Gonzalez bailed him out in the second half last week against Philadelphia. You'd be thinking Gonzalez here, but you know what? So is Tampa Bay.
Timeout spent by Atlanta. A big third down when we return.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. By the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost. And by the Miller Lite aluminum pint, 4 more ounces of that great Pilsner taste.
It's an honor to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching today's telecast in 175 countries on AFN, the American Forces Network. Thank you for all you do. And God bless you all, defending the greatest country in the world. 3rd and 8. From the Tampa Bay 13. Crossing pattern, catch made by Douglas. And he stopped well shy of the first down, and out comes the field goal unit led by Matt Bryant. So a good stop there defensively for the Buccaneers.
It is, and it underlines again the difficulty with the Atlanta Falcons, who last year were a top 5 team in converting third downs. They've been in an awful lot of 3rd and longs. There they had a 3rd and long all but down in the red zone. It's the distances they've had to go. They're still a good team. They've still schemed up well. 3rd and longs, harder to get than 3rd and medium.
Matt Bryant has hit his last 18 field goal tries. Lost his footing, but nails it through the uprights. We're tied at 3 in Tampa. Well, coming up in October, the American League's best, and what 4 teams will be there? Legends, of course, are born in October. Our exclusive coverage of the ALCS begins October the 8th only on Fox. Locally, the Tampa Bay Rays are hoping by the end of today they would be even with the Boston Red Sox in the American League wild card. There's a guy that knows a thing or two about hitting. Tampa native. Man, could he hit. Gary Sheffield used to waggle that bat and all of a sudden just explode when it came near the plate. Preston Parker will take a knee, and the Buccaneers in a 3-3 game get it from the 20. If you want to be a head coach in the National Football League, not bad to bring a talented young quarterback along with you. Mike Smith and Matt Ryan arrived the same year, 3 straight winning seasons. First time that's ever happened in franchise history for the Falcons. Raheem Morris waited 7 games into Josh Freeman's rookie year before inserting him into the lineup. They went from 3 wins to 10 wins a year later. First down, Parade Jerry making contact with Jeff Fain. Jerry starting in place of Jonathan Babineau, out again this week.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Whatever Tampa's version of the no huddle or whatever you need to spark yourself, for Atlanta they needed to do something to change what was going on. Tampa Bay needs to do something to change the dynamic of what's going on right now. I don't know that it's no huddle or change up the rhythm of what you're doing, but what they're doing is not working. Whatever it is, they got to find that thing they can hang their hat on, and they need to find it now.
Well, generally it's been that guy right there. LeGarrette Blount, he's bottled up. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Lofton there, the first man to meet him.
And what's got to be disturbing here, you can see the front 7's winning. They're not having to blitz or bring a lot of DBs up. That front 4 and then the quick flow of the linebackers, that's what's stopping the run of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And when you can stop the run with your front 7, you can keep your secondary loose and not give up the big play, then life's good for you if you're the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons.
Peterson starting today in place of Stephen Nicholas, out with a calf injury. Freeman, good protection, and a poor throw. Nearly a spectacular catch made by Preston Parker, coming off the best game of his NFL career. Flag down again.
Yeah, that was darn near a spectacular catch. I think we're going to see holding on
Holding.
Tampa Bay.
Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's the rookie tight end Luke Stocker out of Tennessee.
And you know, it was interesting when we visited with both Raheem Morris and Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator. We talked about the slow start. You know, again, it's the white elephant in the room that you can't talk about. It's like fumbling. The more you talk about it, the more it happens. They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want the players to be focused on it, but they did need to address it, and they're doing those things to address it. But here we are again, Tampa Bay with a slow start.
Blunt cuts it back to the inside. Gets 8 of the yards back. Closer to 10 of those yards back.
And this is what Tampa Bay has done all but up to this point. We talked about Atlanta having difficulty on third down because they're in a lot of third and longs. Tampa's doing awfully well on third down so far because they've been in these convertible third downs. The last time they were in this down and distance, though, they threw the ball instead of ran it. And it looks like they're configured the same way unless he hands off a quick trap or a draw here.
Ernest Graham has been Freeman's money man the early part of this year. Told you coming in, he was their leading receiver. Caught 8 passes in the season opening game loss.
This is a nice touch by Josh Freeman now. That's a more difficult throw than you think because it's a critical third down. It's got to be catchable, but you got to give him a chance to catch it and turn up. That's one of those big little plays that a quarterback has to make.
Blunt. He's up to the 40-yard line. Let's send it to Kurt Menefee for a game break.
NFC West matchup between Arizona and Seattle. Kevin Cobb giving everybody time with the scramble, and then Larry Fitzgerald, how does he catch that? Double covered, makes a 12-yard scoring reception, and Arizona has a 10-3 lead over the Seahawks. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
All right, Kurt Menefee, thank you very much. A gain of 8 on the carry by Blunt. By far his best carry early on today, 2nd and 2. Williams took a shot from Dante Robinson. Of course, you know about Robinson, fined $40,000 after last week's vicious hit on Jeremy Maclin of the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the second heavy fine they've handed down to Dante Robinson in the last 2 years. The other one came on Deshaun Jackson, also of the Eagles, last year.
And Dante Robinson is one of the more physical corners in the game, and he needed to be physical there because that kept them from a bigger gain.
Throw it on first down, and Stocker down the middle of the field to the 30. Second career catch for Luke Stocker.
And that's what that running game does for you. They've handed it off a couple times into LeGarrette Blount. That gets the linebackers to hesitate a little bit. That's what allows a Luke Stocker to get just that step in behind the linebacker, who has to clear the run first before they can drop into the zone. Nice placement. Boy, they needed that play to get this offense on the roll.
They like the future of this rookie out of Tennessee. They took him in the 4th round. Timeout. 6:51 to play. Tampa Bay on the move in a 3-3 affair.
Well, Dante Robinson, it's all anybody wanted to talk about all week long. This was from last year, the hit that he put in the Philadelphia Eagle game. Now you obviously coming into this last week, you're seeing the hit on Jeremy Maclin. The big discussion points. Did he put a hit on a defenseless receiver? As you go through the game, there's 2 elements. Defenseless receiver, the head-to-head contact. It's all anybody's talking about.
Hit with a $40,000 fine. First down, Buccaneers. And brought for a 2-yard loss is Blunt.
Let's go back to a time. Here you can see Maclin across the play. And right here, the key is Does he become a non-defenseless receiver? Look, he actually gets control and turns up. In my opinion, he was no longer that defenseless receiver. That criticism is not warranted, in my opinion. Now the question becomes, where was the contact made? It was not head-to-head, but people have to understand any shot to the head, whether it's the forearm, whether it's the shoulder pad, that's what's going to bring the penalty. That's what's going to bring the fine.
2nd and 11. There's another one of those quick slants. And they find Williams, and that's a first down for the Buccaneers inside the 20. Freeman now 5 of 5 on this drive.
I tell you what, a slant like this against this cover 2, you saw the trail corner. There is not a lot of room in a cover 2 between the trail corner and the next inside linebacker who's unoccupied. That takes a heck of a throw by Josh Freeman.
Go.
Bobbled by Aurelius Ben, and was able to make something out of nearly nothing. Picked up maybe 2 yards. Told you Freeman started the game hitting on 5 out of 9, including that interception in the end zone. He's hit 6 for 6 on this drive. 61 yards.
And typically, if you're going to focus on the outside, as I would think Atlanta would, to try to take away either Mike Williams or Aurelius Ben, you now have 2 tight ends in the game by way of Kellen Winslow and Luke Stocker. This would be the area you might look for that combination.
You caught it, Brian Billup. That's a tight end, Stocker, and he delivered a blow of his own to Dante Robinson.
This is a good pickup by Tampa Bay in picking up Luke Stocker. Obviously, Kellen Winslow getting on in years. This guy is not a particularly adept receiver, but he's a good complete tight end. These are the kind of throws that you're going to make to Luke Stocker. He's got very sure hands, big physical receiver. Quarterbacks love those big targets because it's a big sweep spot.
Told you that Stocker delivered a shot to Dante Robinson. He has to leave the field. 11th play of the drive. It's 1st and goal from the 9. Screen to Graham. Very close to the goal line. Touchdown.
Here you can see the question is, did he cross the plane? And I'm sure that's something, that's one of those with the new rule. Obviously, officials are going to go above. They're going to look at it to see if this does need review, to see if he did indeed cross the plane with the ball.
Well, we're not on the line there, although the ball never came down across the plane.
The previous play
It'll be hard to
is
tell
under
here,
review.
too. So they're taking a look at it, as they do now on every scoring play in the NFL this season. The verdict when we come back.
Yep, Curtis Lofton put a good hit on Ernest Graham. It looks like the ball is stopped and does not penetrate the goal line. From that look right there, it looks like they will put the ball right there touching the goal line, that it is not a touchdown. We'll see what they come up with.
After review of the play, the runner was down by contact with the ball short of the goal line. Tampa Bay will have the ball 2nd and goal.
Looked like a good call.
It was. Keep in mind now, the officials don't see it in slow-mo like we do. They look at the replays in real time. So that's a difficult thing to do. We can see there clearly. Looks like he gets stopped short of the goal line, and that's why this system was put in. They didn't want a coach to have to burn a flag to correct a call like that. I think it's one of the things that the NFL's done right with regards to replay.
Out of the I formation, they have Loring, and the quarterback, Freeman, will finish off this drive with a touchdown. Got a little bit of a mock on the old Dirty Bird there by Josh Freeman.
I don't know. at 6'6", 250 pounds, this is not a bad choice with the ball touching the goal line. Like the big guy just shove it in. It's going to take more than one guy with a hit on Josh Freeman to keep him out of the end zone.
So now the point after by Connor Boy. 3:37 to play. What a drive for Freeman and the Buccaneers. 10-3 Tampa Bay. Inside the big pirate ship in Tampa, Florida. 12 plays, 80 yards. Freeman perfect on the drive. All but 3 of the yards coming in the air. So Matt Ryan has plenty of time, couple of timeouts, 3:37 to play before halftime. This one will roll through the end zone, and Atlanta gets the football at the 20.
Well, we'll go back and look at this, and I stand corrected as I normally am. Fortunately, the officials can look at it in slow-mo to give them a better advantage, and clearly you needed it there. That would have been tough to see in regular time. Nice hit by Curtis Lofton, but that's what the rule and the review of scoring plays is all about, to get those type of plays right.
Well, don't beat yourself up. There actually are a number of plays where they can only look at it in real speed.
Okay, I forgive myself.
Ryan off his back foot. That had no chance from the start.
Mason Foster here now. This young man, this is the times right now. A lot going through his head right now. He's getting the call. We're inside of 3 minutes. They just had moved down the field in a no huddle. Mason Foster's head is swimming right now. He's got to help hold his team together against a very talented Atlanta Falcon offense that to this point, quite frankly, has struggled.
Ball is loose, flag down. Buccaneers say they have the football. Adrian Claiborne delivered the hit. Looks like Michael Bennett covered it up. It's against Atlanta, and the Buccaneers have it at the 10.
Holding. Offense. Penalties decline. First down, Tampa Bay.
I tell you what, this young man, the 20th pick of the draft, and he fell for a lot of different reasons. But this guy, Raheem Morris, tells you this guy practices angry, like he's got something to prove. He's been told his entire life, because of the Erb's palsy we talked about, that you can't do this, you can't do that. This guy is a physical specimen that likely would have been a top 10 draft had it not been questions about his abilities to hold up given his conditions that he's basically had since birth.
Tell you what, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, you ought to be very, very concerned about the way they are not protecting Matt Ryan so far this year. He has been hit and hit hard. They give it to LeGarrette Blount. A nice stop right at the line of scrimmage by Sean Weatherspoon. You know, in week 1 in that route in Chicago, Ryan sacked 5 times, sacked 4 more times last week in the win over Philly. He's been hit, including today, now 21 times so far this year.
And this is an offensive line that, with the exception of Harvey Dahl, who left, has been together for a while. Their scheme is dictated towards taking care of Matt Ryan. That has to be a concern.
Freeman chased and nearly threw one away in the end zone. Let's check in downstairs with Laura Oakman.
You'll notice Dante Robinson not on the field. Not good news for the Falcons defense. He is on the bench right now, neck injury. His return is questionable.
All right, Laura, thank you. We had a late flag on the far side of the field. And again, we wait on Cleet Blakeman, our referee today.
Illegal forward pass. Offense number 5. The quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage when he threw the pass. It's a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the pass, plus a loss of down, which will make it 3rd down.
So all of a sudden, 1st and goal inside the 10 has gone to 3rd and goal.
Now keep in mind now, every part of the body has to be past this blue line. And right here, it looks like as he lets go, even if his foot is the only thing trailing, doesn't matter if his body and the ball is past the line, as long as there's some part of his body trailing, and it looked like that right foot might have been debatable, but it was past the line just enough that they get the penalty.
Three-man rush. Craig Lumpkin is stopped just inside the 10. So that is a very solid defensive stop for these Atlanta Falcons after the 2nd Matt Ryan turnover.
Yeah, keep in mind last year Atlanta, if Tampa, is able to get the field goal here, last year Atlanta had to come back from behind by 10 before to get their 2nd win against Tampa Bay last year. So this is familiar territory. You don't like it, but at least it's familiar.
Tampa Bay going to let this thing run down to the 2-minute warning. And we'll take a timeout. First career sack for the number 1 pick out of Iowa, Adrian Claiborne, forcing the Matt Ryan turnover. But Atlanta's defense on a 1st and goal from inside the 10 forces a field goal try. 26 yards out for Connor Boyd. Right down the can. Still 2 timeouts for Ryan and the Falcons. Told you, Tampa Bay has lost 5 in a row to Atlanta. The 2 close ones last year by a combined 10 points. And 10 points are the lead right now. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee with what's coming up on the Visa halftime report.
All right, guys, it seems as though the more weeks we go in the NFL, the more excitement we find. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, we'll have all the scores and highlights from a huge week 3, including monster comebacks by both the Bills and the Lions to remain unbeaten. But for now, back to you. We'll see you at halftime.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be watching. I don't know that they're going to get a lot of highlights out of this game. And that's what these teams will have to address, obviously, when they go in at halftime. But keep in mind now, we're just under 2 minutes. Atlanta is uniquely qualified to run a no-huddle in 2 minutes because not only is this their 2-minute offense, but this is their base offense. They use a great deal with their no-huddle. So they got lots of time here, Matt Ryan does, to get them back into scoring position going into the half.
You know, we wondered with this Tampa Bay, you brought it up, Coach Billick, with this Tampa Bay front 7, be able to put enough pressure, or front 4, put enough pressure on Ryan. There's been plenty for the most part. Flag down, Weems breaks a couple of tackles, still on his feet across the 30, and run out of bounds at the 40, but there are flags littered everywhere.
Yeah, that kind of play, it's hard not to get a hold in there someplace.
Coming into this game, Tampa Bay only had 2 sacks so far this year, and neither one by a defensive lineman through the first 2 weeks. And they have put a pile of money into that defensive front. 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 3rd and a 4th.
There are 2 fouls against Atlanta on the play. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Number 22. That penalty's declined. During the return, illegal block in the back, and the return team number 35 at penalty is half the distance to the goal line. First down, Atlanta.
Antone Smith right there, number 35.
Yeah, and that's as clear cut as it gets. Sometimes it's questionable where's the head placed, but you can't get the impetus can't come from behind like that. You talked about this defensive line. Brian Price and Gerald McCoy inside, great solid base. Adrian Claiborne, we've already seen the effect. The other guy, Daquan Bowers, fell to the second round. People thought he might be a high first-round pick. This young defense, if it continued to gel, this could be something special, and they put a lot of pressure on Matt Ryan today.
They countered that by getting rid of it quickly, and that's a first down catch to Roddy White. Clock running, 1:30. The Falcons have 2 timeouts. White again, Biggers on the stop. Stepping out of bounds, a first down catch by Gonzalez to the 32.
Well, the pressure on Matt Ryan, we've talked about it. Could they do it without bringing DBs? There was Rondé Barber getting the fumble recovery, but they've done a great job with this. They're down 4, a few linebacker stunts to put pressure on Matt Ryan. That bodes well for Tampa Bay if they can continue this type of pressure. They were only able to get a sack last week in Minnesota. When they brought DB pressure, they've improved this week.
Plenty of time for Ryan and the Falcons. Flushed out of the pocket, drops it off to Rodgers, and probably better off taking an incomplete pass right there. That's a gain of 3, and the clock's running.
Well, and that's not a bad thing either, because you certainly don't want to have to punt the ball back to Tampa with any time on the clock. They'll get a couple shots here.
White to midfield. They'll probably take a timeout here. Yep, they do. Clock stops, 30 seconds remaining. And one more timeout left for the Falcons.
And that gives them a lot of latitude here. With 30 seconds, they're a good 15 to 20 yards from being in a solid field goal range. With that timeout in your pocket, this gives you a chance to make a couple throws. You could, if you chose, give the ball off on a run, knowing that you can kill the clock. You don't have to burn that timeout. You then would have a third down call, of which you could then use your timeout. So that one timeout is huge in terms of what that allows you to do with your play calling in this situation.
Matt Ryan hoping for a chance just before the half. Rodgers still on his feet to the 35. Clock continues to roll.
He's going to kill it. That's what he's telling his group. Everybody get upset. He's going to put this one in the dirt because he wants to conserve that timeout. See what that allows you to do now, because you don't care about the down because you're about to be out of time. But with 15 seconds, you don't have time to run your field goal team onto the field. Anything outside of 18 to 20 seconds, that becomes problematic. So with a timeout in your back pocket, you can do anything with this ball that you want, because that timeout is going to let you get plenty of time to stop the clock to try a field goal. He doesn't have to force it down the field.
Career long for Matt Bryant is 62 yards. And that came right here in the stadium. Dangerous throw. Incomplete. Clock 10 seconds remain. And the one timeout.
Got a call by Raheem Morris and that Tampa defense, because you bring pressure against Matt Ryan in that situation. You get one-on-one matchups. That can turn into a touchdown, but they were clearly going to try to push him out of field goal range. They realized that they're within range here of Matt Bryant. They wanted to see if they can push him out. That timeout remaining still looms large for Atlanta. He has lots of options here.
Unbelievable, right off the hands of Roddy White. There's some jawing going on over there. It looked like E.J. Biggers broke it up, and the tip ball ends up in the hands of Rondé Barber.
Relatively safe call. Get the ball out of my hands quickly, not risking a sack, getting it to my best receiver. Roddy White usually coming up with that. Nice play by Biggers, and there's the who else is going to be there but the longtime veteran, the guy that's a year older than his coach. How about that? The 36-year-old Rondé Barber coming up with a big play to keep points off the board for Atlanta.
Rondé going to make his way to the locker room. Josh Freeman going to take a knee. The Atlanta Falcons coming off that bruising game on Sunday night, rallying late to beat Philadelphia, and Michael Vick's return to Atlanta. They've turned it over 3 times.
Well, both these teams are good in the second half. We saw Atlanta last week. That right now, Tampa Bay's got to be going, hey, we got them right where we want them. Normally we're down and we have to come back. We're up by 10 right now.
13-3 our score at halftime with the Buccaneers in front of the defending NFC South champion. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Tampa Bay gets the ball to begin the second half. Coach Billick, nuts and bolts. What are you talking about if you're in Tampa Bay's locker room? What are you talking about in Mike Smith's locker room?
Well, sloppy for both teams. You need something to hang your hat on. For Atlanta, when we went no huddle, that's something we actually did very well. So a variation of that, either no huddle, continue to mix up the personnel and the formations. For Tampa Bay, Raheem can actually say, you know what, guys, we did pretty good. We got down in the red zone. We missed some opportunities. So just keep doing what you're doing. Let's tighten up down in the red zone. Maybe now we can get us a win here at home against a divisional opponent.
It's becoming a running theme for these 1-1 Falcons, and that's Matt Ryan being under heavy pressure. He has been hit. He's been sacked. He's turned it over twice. Freeman with the first half's only touchdown on a 1-yard plunge. The late interception, all leading to an extremely sloppy first half for Matt Ryan and the Atlanta offense. 3 first half turnovers for the Falcons. 2 Ryan fumbles, and then that pick. Preston Parker takes a knee. Freeman and the Buccaneers come out from the 20, and we send it downstairs to Laura Oakman.
Always an entertaining halftime chat with Raheem Morris. I asked him, what is your defense doing to get in Matt Ryan's face? He said, we're drafting well. Love how my defensive linemen are playing. He said simply, they're going hunting. I want to keep letting them do that. Offensively, I said, what's the difference with how your offense is driving? He said, basically, we're getting out of Josh Freeman's way. He's seeing what he likes. We're going to keep doing that. I said, what are you going to tell them? You've never been in this position this season. You always go in the underdogs. He said, I don't tell them anything. They're the dirty birds. We hate them.
Maybe that's why we saw that dirty bird spoof, if you will, after the touchdown run by Freeman and slammed the ball into the ground. LeGarrette Blount nowhere to go. Quiet half for both Blount and...
Well, basically, Mike Smith said exactly what Brian did. He said that we're not protecting the quarterback. We're not running the ball. We've got to stop turning over the ball. When the Falcons get on offense, look for a lot more no huddle. He said we got to get in that groove, and we have to start executing. He likes what he sees. They just have to stop turning it over.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. Loss of 2 on a carry by Blount. Starting to say a very quiet half for both LeGarrette Blount and Michael Turner. That's about to change. Close to a first down, needed to get to the 30, tripped up by Deku.
You know, when you see LeGarrette Blount run, that combination of size and watch this, he's faster and quicker than you think. That little bit of acceleration through the hole, you don't expect that from a big man that's a bit of a long strider. This is a unique athlete, and this is a guy that they're going to continue to feed. He brings them a physicality that they did not have prior to him joining this team last year.
Abraham leapfrog The offensive, actually the back trying to block him, LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount tried to go low, and this is a huge mistake. He wants to stay in and show he can pass protect. That's just John Abraham doing a heck of a job. Normally we see LeGarrette Blount jumping over DBs in that way. He tried to take on John Abraham the way DBs try to take on him. The result was the same.
Abraham 2 sacks in the season opener against Chicago, forced a Michael Vick fumble in the win against Philly last week. Blount looking for some room. Still on his feet. Lunges forward to the 37.
John Abraham is their big gun in terms of coming off the outside. And here's the book on Abraham. He has an explosive first step. He's got great flexibility to come underneath an offensive tackle, and he's got great hands. If he gets his hands on you, he can shock you or knock your hands off of him. Great combination for a rush defensive end.
Ernest Graham is checked in. That's a guy that Freeman has been looking for, and he's third down and 3-4 yards so far today. Freeman bobbles the snap and flags Ernest Graham. Flag comes in late. They'll tack on additional yardage.
This is we'll get a chance to look at it once they make the call here. They're going to tack something onto it. This is the height of Josh Freeman's athleticism and strength. We saw it all on that play. That was incredible.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, defense, number 25. That foul, 15 yards, is added to the end of the run. First down, Tampa Bay.
That's William Moore.
Yeah, this has got disaster written all over it. He's looking downfield. He's not ready for the snap. I'll pull it up. Now I'll kind of show nifty. All 6'6", 250 pounds. People falling at my feet, and I get the ball off. Not only do I get it out, but it's accurate. Boy, that's a late hit, top of the helmet. That one's likely to bring a fine as well as a penalty.
Well, they tack on to 15 yards. It's in Falcons territory, opening possession of the second half. Play action. Terrible decision there by Freeman. And he's lucky it wasn't intercepted.
Well, this is here you can see Dante Robinson. This is what happens down the field. This is what led to him being beat up just a little bit, and this is kind of you give what you get, so to speak. It's amazing a flag wasn't thrown on that. Luke Stocker had every bit of Dante Robinson's face mask on that one. Okay.
Kellen Winslow grabbing the face mask there of Robinson. They hand it to Blount. Don't forget, you look the way this season has started for Blount. In the opening game, he carried the ball 5 times for 15 yards. And you go to the first half last week against Minnesota, 5 carries for 4 yards. So here you got a 1,000-yard back, 10 touches for less than 20 yards on the year. Then all of a sudden, they cranked it up in that second half. He had a 27-yard touchdown run and wound up with 67 second half yards.
And that has to do with the rhythm of the game. When you get out of rhythm, when you get a bunch of 3 and outs, it's hard to create a rhythm that allows you to go to a back like that.
Williams, what a tackle to deny him first down yardage by Robinson. Do you think about going for it here if you're Raheem Morris? 4th down and a yard.
Yeah, you got to think about it, because I don't know what he believes is the range of his kicker. But right here, you punt it. That thing comes back out to the 20. You feel good about the way you got things going. This is probably a good call on his part. Now the question is, do you hand it off? We've seen them before on a short yardage. Atlanta's going to load the box up here. Great place for a vertical shot, but I think you hand it off. You got to get the first down here. You're in control of the game. You don't need to be taking chances.
Timeout, Tampa Bay.
Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. NFL, here we go.
Well, prior to a 4th and 1, you burn a timeout.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for it. They may not have liked the matchup. Raheem may not have liked the play call. Obviously, Greg Olsen getting it in. A lot of reasons. You want to get this one right. So I'm okay with the timeout. Hate to burn it, but you need to get this call right.
Play fake it. Looking for Graham. Freeman's going to keep it himself, and that's a first down. They were looking for Ernest Graham, but he was covered up.
Well, they sold out to stop the run. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You'd love to run it in that situation, but Tampa Bay making the decision, you know what? I know they're going to sell out. We think we can get outside the edge. Big athletic quarterback like Josh Freeman gives you that kind of latitude and the good sense not to throw that thing because he knew he could run and get the first on his own.
The only quarterback in the NFL who ran for more yards last year at that position, Michael Vick, than Josh Freeman. That ground game starting to get cranked up a little bit now for the Buccaneers. Last 4 carries for Blunt. He's gone 12, 6, 6, and now 5.
And the nice thing is you've got another guy like an Ernest Graham. That's a good physical 1-2 punch. Graham's close to 225, 230. That's a power. That wears you down, particularly when you're a little undersized, like the Atlanta Falcons. Do a great job hustling and swarm tackling like I've talked about, but that can wear a front 4 down.
He spotted it at the 29. It's only a 3-yard gain, and maybe just back to the line of scrimmage this time on LeGarrette Blount. Of course, they gave him a chance after they picked him up off waivers prior to the season opener from Tennessee.
Well, on this big man, LeGarrette Blount, he's a powerful downhill runner. Not a lot of spill to him. If you take him on high, he's going to kill you. He's got surprising quickness for a big man, and what was important to him, we see him in there in 3rd down. He's improved as a pass protector. He knew he had to do that if he was going to be an every down back in this system.
He'll take a seat. 12th play of the drive. Blitz coming. Freeman with a first down and more.
Well, it's the proverbial when you have man coverage, the one guy on the field that doesn't have anybody on him man for man is the quarterback. If he can get past the 4-man rush, everybody else has their back turned to the quarterback, and you come up with a big run like that.
Well, first down just inside the 15. Over a 7-minute drive. Parade Jerry wraps up Ernest Graham right at the line of scrimmage. Of course, last week's rally against Minnesota, it was a big 3rd down carry. He took a hit, but knew he had to convert if they were going to rally to beat Minnesota.
Well, not unlike the 3rd down we saw him convert with his legs here. He gives you that kind of latitude. Time for a 3rd-year player. There's a calm about this guy. Obviously, the comebacks indicate that. There's a calm about this young man that's unique for someone of his youth.
Through the hands of Ernest Graham, a 3rd down.
Now, this is what we said coming out at the half. We said Raheem Morris could be optimistic with his team and say, look, we've done well, but we've hurt ourselves in the red zone. This is an example. This is where I just talked about the calmness of their quarterback. You got to take a shot here if it presents itself, and that's why you get paid the big money. But you cannot turn the ball over here because you hold on to the 3 points. That takes you now from 10 points to 13 points. That's a differential you don't want to give up. So he's got to be smart and decisive about what he wants to do with the ball here.
Flag down. Run out of bounds at the 10-yard line, but again a penalty flag all the way back behind the line of scrimmage. More than likely holding.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
This is an interesting call that they're going to decline it, and I thought they would. You can take it and back them up, but all you're doing is giving it another chance to take a shot down the field.
Brings up fourth down.
So declining it, even though obviously it keeps them closer, you could back them up 10, but it's not going to make a difference in terms of the field goal. That should be still makeable. So a good move by Coach Smith to turn it down. It's been a long drive. My defense has been on the field for a while. I'll kind of capitulate the 3 here unless we can get something special happen and see if I can make up the difference with my offense.
28-yard field goal try by Connor Barth, who's hit both field goal attempts in the game today. Good snap, good hold, good kick. So that drive consumes better than 8 minutes to start this second half. (16-13). Josh Freeman has had a number of chances to really blow this thing wide open. They've been in the red zone 4 times against Atlanta. They've come away with an interception, a couple of field goals, and 1 touchdown.
And that was big because we talk about a 2-score differential, but those 2 scores being 2 touchdowns now instead of a touchdown and a field goal, that's a big differential.
Now Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense get the ball for the first time in this second half, down by 13.
Sponsored by Verizon. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call Star NFL from your Verizon phone to get NFL Mobile.
Under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. NFC South matchup here in week 3. And the defending divisional champions having their troubles here in Tampa Bay.
This may check to a run the way he's looking at the coverage.
First substantial gain of the afternoon for Turner. It's close to a gain of 10. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call Star NFL to get NFL action right on your phone.
And back in the no huddle. That's what got them started in the first half. Gone right back to it here. See if they can make something happen.
For Douglas, that's the first down up to the 35-yard line. Let's send it back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Here's something you haven't seen because it hadn't happened all season. The Seahawks with a lead. Tavares Jackson scrambles, takes it in from 11 yards out against Arizona. They lead it 13-10. Yes, that's the Seahawks' first lead of 2011. Tom and Brian?
Wow. First lead in the third game. The third quarter of the third game. Michael Turner for a yard. 9 rushes, 19 yards for Turner, and Grimm is hurt.
Well, Matt Ryan just trying to check the right play into the right look right now between run and pass. He's got the complete offense at his disposal. We'll see how Grimm holds up here, but yeah, it looks like deep down on shoulder. We'll see when we come back.
And Geno Hayes also down along with Grimm.
Looks like Cody Grimm and Geno Hayes kind of friendly fire here. That's Geno Hayes hitting the knee below on Grimm. Fortunately, Geno Hayes got up and walked off. Unfortunately, Grimm was taken off on a cart.
There's Grimm after taking over as a starter last year. Got hurt, broke his leg in a game in Baltimore, missed the rest of the season. Ryan on second down.
Matt Ryan had the matchup he wanted. They had pushed Gonzalez out to the outside, and he ended up one-on-one with Corey Lynch, a safety. You're going to take the future Hall of Famer in that matchup every time, and as it's been kind of the whole day, Matt Ryan just seems a little bit off. Can't get the ball delivered in the sweet spot.
Third down. Wide open down the middle of the field is Douglas, and that's a first down to the 48. Cody Grimm leaving on the cart. Hopefully we'll get good news on him. Back in a hurry up looking for White. He had separation and it was overthrown by Ryan.
Nice job by White. I want you to watch him on the outside here. Watch how he leans into the DB to get that. He lets the DB push him off. Matt Ryan needing a little bit of air. Threw it out of bounds. No pass in the history of the NFL has ever been completed out of bounds. You got to keep that one in the field of play.
Boy,
how about that? How's that for critique? Got to find Gonzalez here.
Empty backfield. Ryan, this time he'll be the guy doing the running. And has a first down to the 36-yard line.
Same deal. Lined up in man coverage across. You can see it right here. Now watch everybody turns. They're doing a good job. They're working. They're working. Now they have their backs to it. That allows them Matt Ryan, like we saw Josh Freeman, get a key first down with his legs.
Gain of 12 on the carry by Matt Ryan. Looking for Julio Jones. Incomplete. You see 41, Corey Lynch. He's come on to take over for Cody Grimm at the free safety spot.
Like a smart guy, go after the backup. Go after the area where you've got a vulnerability. Tough catch going over the off shoulder of receiver. As gifted an athlete as Julio Jones is, that's a tough catch.
Ninth play of the drive, 2nd and 10. Douglas was wrapped up, his knee hit the ground. It's a nice play by Adam Hayward at the 31-yard line.
And the officials are over it. That knee goes to the ground right there, blown there immediately.
You know, you just get the feeling there's a long way to go, but you get the feeling this is a pivotal third down for Atlanta. And they're bringing a house, and they got him. Mishandled snap.
Well, you can see the pressure in the middle, up in the gaps there. Todd McClure just back off of injury. Never gets a clean snap. They were blowing through the gaps, the line, knowing that they have to work in combination there. I'm sure that affected the snap. Never gave Matt Ryan a chance.
Boy, you go from thinking about, at the very minimum, a field goal, and now Atlanta is forced to punt. Extremely short punt by Bosher, who had an 18-yard punt last week against Philadelphia. This one 19 yards. So you're waiting for November. Fox Sports steps into the octagon, an epic heavyweight title fight. #1 ranked contender Junior Dos Santos squares off with undefeated world champion Cain Velasquez. A must-see event on Fox. The UFC Heavyweight Championship of the World, Saturday, November 12th on Fox. And look at Gino Hayes leaving the field. Of course, he had that collision with Cody Grimm on the last Atlanta possession. And Freeman being chased by Bierman and just does get it off. Is that caught or is that an incomplete pass? Apparently that is, they're talking about it. That was a catch, and that'll be a loss of 4.
Well, that's the strength of Josh Freeman there. Corey Bierman all over him. Like we said, Brian Van Gorder said you got to get a hold of the arm. Getting a hold of this big man isn't enough. You got to wrap his arm up.
Well, they're challenging this call, and it's the Tampa Bay sideline challenging the call, believing this was an incompleted pass.
That's got to be in the annals of a unique challenge. I'm challenging to negate the play that my quarterback and running back just made.
Tampa Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
It's bounced its way in, so we'll come back and get this sorted out.
That's a big league challenge right there.
It is. I can't say I've ever seen that one that way.
That flag coming all the way from Raheem Morris's right hand, almost to the line of scrimmage.
Good young man. Good young arm.
You're right.
After review of the play, the pass hit the ground, therefore is an incomplete pass. Tampa Bay will have 2nd down and 10 on the 18. Please put 3 minutes and 4 seconds on the game clock. Tampa Bay will not be charged with a timeout.
Now, it's unofficial, but I'm going to go with it because I don't know if anybody know better. But Mike Pereira, who is our expert in this category, says he can't remember ever an offensive guy throwing a flag to negate a play that was ruled positively for the offense, and the fact that it was so I'm going to go with him. I don't know that it's in the books, but yeah, I don't know that it's a bad challenge because now instead of that would have been a long D&D to get on 3rd down. You're back now to a 2nd.
See, there you go again, D&D.
Down and distance. So at some point, I'm going to teach you this football lingo.
Well, I need the help. Second down, stopped by Weatherspoon is LeGarrette Blount. Let's go downstairs to Laura.
I know Bucs fans and the Bucs get nervous. Anything with Cody Grimm and that leg. Thanksgiving last year, it was his left leg that he broke. It took him 3 months before he was even able to stand on it. It didn't feel right until July or August. Right now, they are saying it is his right knee. That's all the Bucs are releasing, but he is out for the game. As for Gino Hayes, knock in the head, wind knocked out of him. He's questionable.
All right, Laura Oakman, thank you very much. Not a good D&D here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lady Luck is smiling on the Buccaneers right now.
Well, they stole that one out of my playbook because I definitely have that one drawn up. Now this one clearly trying to get to the outside. I think he was aiming for Kellen Winslow. I'm guessing he didn't see Mike Williams underneath here. Or wasn't Mike Williams, excuse me. It was Desmond Briscoe. And, I think it was aiming for Kellen Winslow.
Nice catch by Aurelius Ben, broke a tackle. And turns it into major positive yards. And look at Raheem Morris right up there in Aurelius Ben's face and urging him on.
Well, Raheem Morris, I will tell you this now, Raheem's energy, and they have taken some guys, we talked about it earlier, his youth, his enthusiasm, but they've taken some guys based on that enthusiasm, that focus, that some character issues that we talked about, that LeGarrette Blount's, the Mike Williams, the Preston Parkers, these young defensive linemen, some people said were too hurt, too this, too that. They respect him for that, and they're playing for him.
Running through tackles. for a gain of 8. We brought it up earlier, Coach Billick. He gets going. He is a load to bring down.
Yeah, we're getting to that stage of the game now. We're closing out the third quarter where that last long drive they had, you continue to pound away at him like this. This guy's just a big, powerful man. And he runs relatively upright for a big, powerful man. I worry about the beating that he takes, but right now he's laying out more of the beating than he's getting.
56 yards rushing in the game now for Blunt. Looking for more. Inside the 45. And that'll be good enough for a first down. That'll be the final play of the third quarter. An opening drive that lasted over 8 minutes. Atlanta's defense standing tall, allowing just the field goal. But Tampa Bay will not have to come back. It doesn't look like in this one. We go to the fourth, 16-3 Buccaneers.
Brian Van Gorder looking at Deku, wondering, where the heck were you? Why weren't you? You know, Brian Van Gorder, one of the more intense defensive coordinators in this game. He's going to get it corrected one way or the other, I promise you.
Well, we begin the fourth quarter with the Buccaneers in front 16-3. First and 10 at the Atlanta 44. Missed receiver, a tip ball, and it's intercepted by William Moore. Moore crosses midfield, is chopped down by Blunt at the 48-yard line. Freeman had a wide open receiver and just plain missed him.
Well, this is exactly what what Atlanta needs, a play like that. Actually a catchable ball. Kind of threw just the one hand up. Moore in great position now to get Atlanta on a short field. They desperately needed a short field right now. We'll see if they want to continue with the no huddle. Frankly, that's the only way they've actually moved the ball, but they're in a no huddle. They need one solid drive here. I'll be interested to see if they want to continue with the no huddle or get it called.
Second turnover forced by this Atlanta defense. That's the longest running streak in the NFL.
He's got a numbered box to throw the ball here.
Julio Jones to the 31. That's a first down.
You've seen a lot of these just slant plays. Again, simple as a screwdriver, allows the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And right now, all Matt Ryan is doing, it's number counting. Can I count? If you got more than I can up in the middle, I'm going to throw it. If you got more at the back end where I can't throw it, I'm going to run it. They've stacked the box here a little bit. This would indicate it's going to get a throw.
Jones again. Makes a defender miss, and he's all the way down to the 15.
They'll play this game all day long. One-on-one on the outside. Look at the cushion. Julio Jones is a big man. This is a one-on-one matchup you'll take all day long. He not only can run by you, he can run over you.
Another gain, this time of 18 for Jones. Oh, what a dangerous throw there. And that was a fraction of a second away from Rondé Barber going the other way for what would have been his 15th return for a touchdown.
Yeah, and a play like that, you're looking for a little trickeration here. You're trying to do the college-wide pick screen. I don't know that I would do that at Rondé Barber. There's a bunch of young other guys that you might try that again. Rondé's smiling right now going, no, 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 no. You can't pull that stuff with me. I've been around too long.
That's another tight throw right in Rondé's neighborhood.
Well, I've said it many times. What on a football field has Rondé Barber not seen? No matter what the formation the route combination, whatever situation you're in. He's been that, so that's the guy that's going to lead this defense, particularly in critical situations because of that experience.
3rd and 10. Crossing pattern, and Julio Jones has been the man on this Atlanta drive. Do you take the field goal here, Coach? It's 4th down. Or do you go for it down by 13 early in the 4th?
Well, the way my offense is going, you normally would say, I'm going to take the 3 points, get it to a 10-point differential. I haven't been down here a whole lot. I think Mike Smith's saying the same way, saying, let's go for this thing.
Fourth and 3. Batted down by Lynch. Of all the options Ryan has, and he looks for the rookie Jacquizz Rodgers.
Game is sponsored by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach. By Burger King, where you can enjoy the flavor of soft serve in several delicious combinations. And by Chevrolet Volt. It's more car than electric.
You can see here Gonzalez in the slot. You got Jacquizz Rodgers on the left slot against a backup safety, Corey Lynch. I'm sure Matt Ryan thought, you know what? I got this nifty little guy. He's going to beat the safety. That was the matchup he liked the best. You give Corey Lynch credit for jumping all over the quick slant.
Ernest Graham. I got to be honest with you, Coach Billiken. Obviously, I'm not down there on the field. You were a great play caller in your days going back to Minnesota and through winning a Super Bowl right here in Tampa. But with all of the money you have put into all the weapons around Matt Ryan, on 4th down and 3 with perhaps a game on the line, Rodgers is not at the top of my list.
No, they have faith in him. He's very good in terms of splitting out like that. But it is all about matchups. And I guarantee you Matt Ryan's thinking a backup safety against Rodgers. I know I've got a lot of good receivers. That's the best matchup I like. Didn't turn out.
Blunt wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. So now all of a sudden a 3rd down and long, and Atlanta hoping to get the football right back.
This is that territory again where you've got to rely on the maturity of your young quarterback. I'm talking about Josh Freeman now. Yeah, you want to convert it. This is a long down and distance, not D&D, but down and distance, that you're counting on his experience. The ability to throw it down the field, because I imagine Atlanta's going to be fairly passive. If you're going to convert this, you're probably going to have to throw it underneath and someone run for a 1st down. You've got to be very careful about throwing it at the sticks for fear of a turnover.
Very close, although he looks to be about a yard short as Preston Parker. And he is short. That's a good defensive stand by the Falcons. Falcons have played well defensively here today.
They have. They rallied to the ball well. That's a perfect example. A team that you're going to capitulate to throw underneath, but only because you know your defense will run and rally to it and leave them just short. And he was about a yard and a half of converting the 1st down.
So Atlanta defense continues to give Matt Ryan and the offense a chance to get back into this game. Punt by Kanan, a fair catch and excellent field position. The stride begins from their own 41. 16-3, 10:38 to go. Still plenty of time. Between September the 15th and October the 15th, the NFL and its clubs honor the contributions of their Hispanic fans, players, and communities through designated games and celebrations. You can learn more at NFL.com/Espanol. Good protection for Ryan. Pump fake. Looking for a wide open Julio Jones, and he got it to the 10. Wow, is he a talent.
what he thought he was fielding the punt there. He's thinking this ball cannot get down to me quick enough. Matt Ryan buying time in the pocket. Now he doesn't know whether he's supposed to hold his hand up and ask for a fair catch so he doesn't get hit.
Right at the 10-yard line. Gonzalez for the touchdown. They go 60 yards in 2 plays, a 91st career touchdown for Tony Gonzalez, which moves him into 9th all time.
Well, this is what a great pro does. Matt Ryan struggling all day, not having his best day, and then comes up with a throw like this. Watch him buy time. He knows he wants to go Gonzalez, step up, step up. That is a perfect throw. Well, Gonzalez was the one to get him back in it last week. 7 receptions, mostly in the second half. Certainly is the catalyst right here.
Of course, Gonzalez holds virtually every NFL record for the tight end position, including receptions, receiving yards, touchdowns. And a point after, all of a sudden, with 9:55 to play, has swung the momentum to the Atlanta sideline. Ryan Gonzalez, a 16-10 game in Tampa.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the Chevy Season of Doing.
When you need 6, where else do you go? This spectacular catch by Gonzalez, 1 of 2 against Philadelphia. Not quite as dramatic, the quick slant. And now here in the 4th quarter.
Well, this former basketball player's got major ups. You just put it on the top of the rim. The comfort zone that Matt Ryan has for Tony Gonzalez to put it anywhere is huge.
Preston Parker from the 2-yard line. And he's out across the 25. NFC South, it seems like every time you're in this division, it turns into a heavyweight fight. Here we go again. Tony Gonzalez, Matt Ryan connecting to make it a 6-point game. 9:49 to play in Tampa. Play fake to Blunt. Been another good day catching the ball out of the backfield for Ernest Graham. All right, Coach Billett, you're calling the plays now for Tampa Bay. Your lead is down to 6. Do you fight that battle about conservative, opening it up a little bit? What do you think?
This is the toughest scenario you can have as a play caller because you're asking a lot of your quarterback. Look, we got to put this thing down the field at some point in critical times. You've got to be very careful with it. It tends to tighten up a quarterback because the margin of error is so narrow.
A pretty safe throw right there. And Ben, that depends on a spot. A late flag comes in. And this might be against Atlanta after the play was already out of bounds. Or it could be a face mask on Ben.
Boy, that's tough. And that just happens. You're trying to ward off a tackler. All of a sudden you find your hand inside an ear hole or a face mask. I'm sure that's what this is going to be. Negate that fine.
Personal foul. Dabbing the face mask. Offense, number 17. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Replay second down.
Well, mark that down. That could be a huge play in this game when all is said and done.
Yeah, absolutely. A tipping point in terms of now you've got to put it on your quarterback to make a couple throws in a situation. Keep in mind, he's just thrown an interception that set up them getting back in the game. But you've got to put it on him that we've got to get, you want to get about half of it back here. And I don't know that you're going to do it with the running game, but at least give yourself the option, because the last thing you want to do here is punt.
Set up a screen to Ernest Graham. And he was spun down up to the 32-yard line. That's a nice pickup.
It is a little more than the half that I was looking for, so I'll take it. Now you've got yourself in a very convertible third down, third and medium. You got a lot more calls on that sheet you're comfortable with than you are with third and 10 or third and 15, certainly. A lot more options, and more importantly, it's a down and distance that allows you to get the ball out of your hand fairly quickly. You don't want to be holding it in this situation.
3rd and 5.
Might see another one of those quick slants we've been seeing all day.
Broken up, defended beautifully by Lofton, who was step for step with Winslow. So you go back to the face mask. It would have been, if not a first down, 3rd and inches. It turns into a 3-and-out series now for Freeman and the Buccaneers. And we showed you a short while ago, so much has been made about Freeman being the comeback kid. Matt Ryan, last week's 4th quarter victory was a 14th of his career. 6 of them came in 2010 alone. Nice return by Weems up to the 32. .7:46 to play. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee in the Fox Network Center to tell us what's coming up on the OT.
After your game on the OT presented by Lowe's, we'll have all the scores and highlights, including the Bills' big upset over the Patriots and the Lions' best start since 1980. Plus all the post-game sound, including exclusive footage from inside the winning locker rooms. It's all on the OT when you guys are done. Tom and Brian.
Kurt, thank you.
Throwing situation the way they're stacked inside.
Turner spun off one tackle. Gerald McCoy and Sean Jones came up to get him.
Should have thrown it. They had a pretty strong box for that. You can see here. Look at the numbers inside. Just outnumbered inside typically. Now there again though, you can't make a team or have a team force you to doing something you don't want to do. But if they're going to stack the box like that in a 3 wides formation, you got to take advantage of it throwing down the field.
Roddy White for a first down up to the 45. Ryan took a hit from Michael Bennett.
Well, they emptied the backfield and were a man short in protection. That takes a man to step in there and make that kind of throw. And Roddy White just out-muscled the defender.
White again has been matched up with E.J. Biggers, and that's a matchup the Falcons very much like.
Yeah, that's the good thing with the no huddle here. As you get it spread out, you can find these individual matchups, and unless you can see where that help's going to come over the top, you're exactly right. E.J. Biggers is not bad, but Roddy White is a Pro Bowl performer. You'll take this matchup. That Will linebacker is going to buzz out there and help Roddy White because Biggers is overmatched right now.
Fake the throw, inside handoff to Turner, and he's down to the 38-yard line. We talked about Matt Ryan. Did it again last week against Philadelphia. Has been so deadly. 14 fourth quarter wins in his first 3+ seasons. 3 of them have come against Atlanta, or against Tampa Bay, I beg your pardon. Looking up top, incomplete. Again looking for Roddy White, who's matched up on Biggers.
Well, I imagine Raheem Morris here. You can see here, right in his hands. That's a heck of a throw. Roddy White will take that anytime you can give it to him. Wasn't able to find the beat on it and pull it in. I imagine Raheem Morris is going to do something to help E.J. Biggers on virtually every snap. Put a safety over the top, buzz a linebacker underneath. You can't let this matchup beat you, because clearly that's where Matt Ryan is focused.
Blitz coming. Ryan gets it away, and there's that matchup. 24-yard line, a first down for Atlanta.
Watch the timing of this. You can't see Matt Ryan on this. This ball is thrown before Roddy White even comes out of his break. That's the subtlety that these two have about Matt Ryan knew exactly where he was going to go because of that familiarity. E.J. Biggers or not, no one's going to stop that when Roddy White and Matt Ryan are on that kind of rhythm.
5 minutes to go. Flag down. White chopped down by Biggers after a gain of 2.
That had a funny feel to it. I don't know. It's like they weren't ready. I don't know what happened there. I think you've got the defense jumping off sides here. I don't know if
offside. Defense, the nose guard. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Looked like number 90, Roy Miller.
Yeah, just here at the bottom of your screen, just that little jump right there. You end up getting kind of a free play out of it.
Roddy getting a quick breather. He'll be back in here the next down. You
don't want him out in this situation. Arthur Blank's going over and saying,
he said, I'll give you a raise.
Yeah, I'll give you whatever you need, man. Get a quick breath and get you back in there. We need you.
Pump fake. Looking at Douglas. That's caught, but it's out of bounds. Biggers. Good coverage there on Douglas.
And obviously he took that shot because he thought, again, he had the matchup. Roddy White not being in. Now, Harry Douglas is a pretty good receiver. That's not the kind of throw you make to Harry Douglas necessarily. That's a Roddy White throw. That's a Julio Jones throw. That's a Tony Gonzalez throw. Let him use that size and go up.
Roddy White back in a game, top of your screen. Julio Jones has a first down inside the 12. They'll mark it at the 11-yard line. Julio Jones.
Boy,
his first 100-yard receiving game here today.
Anytime Matt Ryan looks up and sees someone off playing that far off on Julio Jones, he's so dynamic with the ball in his hands, he's going to take that shot every time. You got a safety down here on him right now. Nope, it's Talib, I'm sorry.
That's a second big drop. As many fine catches as White has made on this drive. That's a big drop for the second time on it.
He's smelling touchdown. Look, that head's going to pop around before he even gets the ball in his hands. He knew he was going to get a score. It goes back to the basic fundamentals. Look it into the hands.
And Arthur Blank just said, forget about that raise. Was it a catch? No. Immediately signaled on the field. There is a penalty flag, however, and Matt Ryan is saying this flag is against Tampa Bay.
That was about to be one heck of a catch. He had to reach behind him, almost pulled it back in. Clearly didn't have control. Nice strip.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 93. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
That's Gerald McCoy.
New set of downs. This is what hurts you more than anything. That had to be the hands to the face mask or the hands to the head. You hit the quarterback in any way, shape, or form, unless it's a casual glancing blow. They've changed that. Before there was anything that would bring about the penalty. That hit him flush right in the face mask. That's what brought about the call.
First and goal, Atlanta at the 5. Comes in late. Ryan tried to spin his way out of the pressure from Brian Price and lost his footing. And again, a flag is down.
I think you're going to get holding on top of it.
Holding. Offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Justin Blaylock caught with the holding. Brian Price inside. Watch this. Second-year player out of UCLA, injured last year. Look, he's just powering through it. I've said it many times, Tom, that pressure inside is absolutely lethal. Getting Price back, they think he's back at about 95%. That 95% was good enough there.
So it goes first and goal from the 5 to second and goal to 15. Atlanta down 6. Been a rough series and rough possession for E.J. Biggers, but he made a play right there.
Yeah, that ball had to be a little high and flat. Roddy White working his way through the inside, right in position. He had help over the top, so he knew he could take this shot and trail him underneath because he had the help over top.
Well, clearly this is 4 down territory. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Third and goal.
Well, you got to hope your defense has got a little left in the tank here.
Ryan just throws a jump ball, and again caught by Biggers, but again out of bounds. All right.
No, not to argue with you, Coach.
Wow, I thought for sure it would be 4 down.
With 4:11 left on the clock, I have faith in my offense. I've got three timeouts, excuse me, left. You know what? And I'm a long way. This is a long 4th down play. I'm not sure you don't take the 3 points now. If my defense can play, particularly the way it's played this quarter, I only need a field goal to tie. Right now, I'll take a deep breath and take that tie and go into overtime, notwithstanding the ability to go the length of the field and score a touchdown.
33 yards. That got from inside 40. Pretty much automatic. That's why you won a Super Bowl right here on this very field with the Baltimore Ravens. Brian Billick.
Yeah, well, with my defense and 4 minutes left, that was a lifetime because you weren't gonna go very far. And that's a good choice by Mike Smith because, again, when you make these decisions, some people, you can fall into the old cliches. How is the day gone? You can't separate yourself from the day. How's my offense been? How's my defense been? His offense has been moving pretty good here of late. The defense has had a couple good series now. They've gotten a turnover. So I'm feeling good about my chances at 4:06 that if I can get a 3 or out, I'm going to put this offense back on the field after a long drive where the Tampa Bay defense might be bringing down a little gas here and getting a little tired themselves. I think it's a good call by Coach Smith and the Falcons.
See the numbers on LeGarrette Blount. He and Josh Freeman hoping that they can pick up 2 first downs and pretty much put this thing to bed.
Yeah, I imagine the Falcons are going to put a little pressure on that run game and count on some of their one-on-one matchups on the outside.
They've got their hands team along the 45-yard line. Should Atlanta think about an onside kick?
That would be ill-advised here, in my opinion. Too low a percentage.
A line drive kick through the back of the end zone. Well, you know, it's one thing to talk about guys rallying their teams when you're behind in the 4th quarter. Talked about Matt Ryan. We know about Josh Freeman. One of the things that, and he'll admit it to you, that put Troy Aikman in the Hall of Fame was his team's ability to put away games when you're leading in the 4th quarter.
Absolutely, and that is actually more pressure on you as a quarterback. I promise you, if Tampa Bay is going to keep the ball away from Atlanta in this classic 4-minute situation, he's going to have to make a throw at some point to do it. You're not going to run your way out of this in this 4-minute situation.
Throw it up first down. Whoa, did he take a hit? William Moore delivered a major blow on Freeman. No penalty flag.
Well, you're not a defenseless player at this point. You're a running back. This is fair game to try to bring the ball. And that's a big man. You better take him on.
I cannot believe that is not a helmet-to-helmet. If there's ever an example of a 15-yard penalty here, but that is right to the helmet.
But that was not a defenseless player. This is a running back. That's the same as LeGlaire Blunt being out there. You bring him down any way you can. The helmet-to-helmet is with a defenseless player, and he was not.
That's a pickup by Blunt. That'll be a gain of 7. All right, you said they had to make a throw somewhere on this drive. Of course, they were hoping to have Freeman throw the ball there, but a big run.
Exactly right. The first play, in anticipation of Atlanta stacking the box to stop the run, he waggled out, got a good gain out of it. He's still now, there's a lot of time here. They've got to they're in a good position here. You'd love to run the ball out, but he's going to have to make a throw to finish this game out. You're not going to do it just running.
2nd down and 4. First down. So now this should take it down to the 2-minute warning. It will take it down to the 2-minute warning.
Now Atlanta's going to use one of its timeouts, and that's smart. You're not going to let this thing, believe me, Tampa Bay would have taken this down to the 2-minute. And gone ahead and taken the 2-minute and made you burn a timeout later on. Now Atlanta, and they may very well, if Tampa Bay chooses to run here, Mike Smith may choose to use his last timeout in addition, because now you don't want that much clock to disappear on you. I'd be very surprised if this weren't a run on Tampa Bay's part, simply to bring about that next timeout call.
We talked about our visits with both of these teams, both knowing how critically important a game like this can be. I mean, obviously, you still have a lot of football, almost 3 full months of football to be played. A little over 3 full months.
As I said in the open, pressure's on Tampa because you got to hold serve when you're at home.
Blunt. For maybe 2, and as you predicted, immediately Mike Smith wants a timeout. 2:26 left to go, and the Falcons have that 1 timeout remaining.
And once again, I think we're likely to see a run by Tampa Bay with 26 seconds left to the 2-minute warning. They've used up the timeout. I don't want that clock to stop now on a throw, because now I got a 3rd down that I'd likely have to throw again. Now I got to punt it. Atlanta could have gotten the ball if they chose to do that with 2 minutes and have a full 2 minutes to drive down the field. So this is going to be a run by Tampa Bay, simply to bring the clock down now to a 2-minute. They'll take the 3rd down inside a 2-minute and see where it leads.
Buccaneers have lost 5 in a row to their division rival Falcons, including twice last year by a combined 10 points. They lead by 3 with 2:26 left. Missed tackles, allowing Blunt to find a little bit of daylight. And now 3rd down and 2. And this time, Mike Smith will let that clock go down to the 2-minute warning rather than spending his final timeout. Buccaneers with a chance to put it away. Can Atlanta's defense, which has been so good in this second half, make a play? 16-13 in the 2-minute warning. Fox animation domination finally here. A night of season premieres, complete comedy chaos. The all-new episodes of television's most animated night. Season premiere Sunday starts tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. 3rd and 2. Blunt out of the I formation. Depending on where they spot him. It looked initially like he got there, but it is very, very close. Talking to those of you watching the Cardinals and the Seahawks, Seattle getting its first win of the year. Did he get there?
Wow. And keep in mind, our yellow line is not official. Looked like the ball may have gotten across it, but that is not official. They're going to have to measure this one. This one's going to be painfully close. I say he gets it. It looked like he had just enough push.
I'm just wondering if his knee hit the ground before that ball was stretched.
And that may bring about a challenge.
He didn't get it.
There you go. Once again, I fail miserably as an official.
All right, Brian Billick now. This is old news. If it's 4th down right now, Raheem Morris, are you going for it? Your team's ahead by 3.
You know what? I go ahead and punt it. I'm not going to run the risk of something happening here. Now, he may try to draw them off sides. He's keeping his offense on the field right now. He may try to do the false snap count, but you turn this thing over here, and right now, I don't know if Atlanta's thinking about or Tampa Bay is thinking about challenging this. They may try to draw them off sides. I find it hard to believe that you're not going to punt this thing. If something happens, a mishap with the snap
is under review.
You know, we were wondering about his knee. As you see the spin around, his knee never touched the ground. It landed on top of Vance Walker's body. So this is under review upstairs. Booth review.
Now here's what we've got to look at, and this is what they're looking at from the official view above. He rolls over the top of the defender, which might have meant, yeah, you could spot it further down. But his hip and now elbow is down. Where is the ball at that point? And this is where you get into some nuance. Do I, as the official, do I move it an inch forward? Do I move it an inch back? They have to make the determination. Did it indeed become a first down based on the spot we're going to give it? Because you can't get into a minute, quarter of an inch with the hip down, the elbow down, where the ball is. I don't know that this leads you to moving the spot from where you had it.
Jim Heffernan, our instant replay communicator. Cleve Blakeman, our referee, talking things over with a side judge, Greg Meyer.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands. It'll be 4th down.
There wasn't enough of a look to push it someplace else. Now, let's look what happens. I think they're going to try to draw him off sides.
And Mike Smith's going to have to call a timeout because the clock on a running play would have continued to run. So he's just spent Atlanta's final timeout.
Yeah, which is a good move on his part, because they'd have sucked down every minute of that clock at that point to bring it down at an unmanageable time. And if Raheem Morris and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go for this, God love them, it's a good move. Game over, because out of timeouts, underneath 2 minutes, game's over, if they can get the first down. If not, you put the Atlanta Falcons on a relatively short field. Remember, all I need is a field goal. I'm now about 25 yards away with my kicker from attempting a tying field goal.
Who has hit a 62-yard field goal in this venue.
If they do go, it might be a quarterback sneak. They got him. They got him. That's all they were going to do, was try to draw him off sides, and they got him. They had no intentions of running a play.
Offside. Defense. No sack. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's so tough on a defender. You know what they're trying to do. I guarantee you the coaches are screaming at him. Brian Van Gorder knows. He knew that they were trying to do. When you saw the short motion, there was no way they were going to run a play. Got to give Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their head coach Raheem Morris, credit. Situational football, gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it, preserved the win for him. Let it go.
Josh Freeman takes a knee. We welcome those of you watching a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Green Bay coming away with a win.
You can hear here. Great inflection. I guarantee you the center was squeezing the ball a little bit with the knuckles. You know, it's a classic trick by the center. Didn't intend to snap it, just squeezed a little bit, white knuckle a little bit, the right inflection from the quarterback, and you get a nice, cheap first down.
Corey Peters jumped. Veteran Jeff Fain, he's been down this road a time or two before. So now for these young Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the youngest team in the National Football League. They won 10 games last year. It wasn't good enough to reach the postseason, thanks in large part to 2 wins by Atlanta against them by a combined 10 points, and here they win round 1 in 2011.
And Raheem Morris got a smile on his face. He knows this is a big one for him. Always a tough fight in the NFC South. Mike Smith knows what the loss means to his team, but again, Tampa Bay, it's all about hold and serve at home.
So for the first time, Raheem Morris can celebrate a victory against the Atlanta Falcons. And lost 4 straight to them. Buccaneers overall had lost 5 in a row. And Tampa Bay, as you like to say, Coach Brian Billick, holds serve in its first division game. 16-13 final.
You know, and Raheem Morris will tell you that they don't think of themselves as a young team. This is a big win, young or old.
Back with more from Tampa after this.